Hello, Robert. Hello, Robert. I got hit pretty bad yesterday, but we'll talk about that later. What I want to do, I want to kind of incorporate a few things here. I want to give a lesson, and I want to do formula from the stick control book formulas, number 1 and number 2. Now, the online students that I have already kind of know this, and it won't hurt to revisit it because you might pick up something a little different. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain formula number 1 and formula number 2, stick control book formulas. Okay? Let me tell you a little bit about the book first. First off, there's 180 pages and there's 45 different formulas. Now, I discontinued the hardcover. It's only available in ebook or PDF format. So the book itself is just an expansion or a different way to approach the brilliance of George Lawrence Stone. A lot of guys they open the book and they play the page down as written. And then that's easy. So what, Or they go to the next line. And I've known drummers to say, okay, I went through that book 35 years ago. Time to pick it back up again. Well, you don't stop ever doing stick control book. That's number 1. Now, because there's so much in there because of the brilliance of George Lawrence Stone. Now, what I've done was I expanded, like I said, I expanded on it. And for the first formula, we're going to make, when we're referencing off of page 5, we're going to make an R become something and an L become something other than what you see. So, for example, I'm going to work with the 8th note triplet. So I count 8th note triplets. And there's a couple different ways, but this really works well with me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make R. When I see an R, I'm going to make it 3 rights. Or when I see a left now, I'm going to make it 3 lefts. So I'm just interpreting the line as right, left, and every time I come to a right, it's 3 rights. Every time I come to a left, it's 3 lefts. No problem. Okay? So now, that's the concept or the approach or whatever you want to call it, or the expansion. But there's a few things you want to understand first. Number 1, this is not about speed. It's about being clean on the snare drum. When I say clean on the snare drum, I mean, if I'm playing 3 notes, I'm making them sound the same. I'm not going like that. So what comes in here are the sticking heights, or so AKA the level system. You have the full stroke. This is the sticking position. And it's about, 18 inches, whatever you want. I don't have a ruler. From the starting point to the end of the drum on impact. However, when I say full stroke, and I want, I'm going to come right back because I'm setting myself up for an additional right. So when I make impact, 1, I came right back. Now on the and of the triplet, I'm going to come right back. But I want the sound to be the same as the 1. And then the da, the same principle. So now I have the first right, which would be 1 and da. And that's all coming from 1 height. Now, if I did the sequence right, left, I'm going to keep both my hands in an upstroke position. That means I'm equal distant from the tip of the drum to the impact of the drum, and it comes right back to that position. One, like so. So I'm going to do the first line. All right, the right, left sequence. Just keep doing it. I'm going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and this is actually step 2. I'm going to tell you right now, but you might want to get by it. You could just do it with your hands. But while you're doing it with your hands, add the bass drum on the counts of 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I want to drop the left foot, heel and toe. Heel and toe means the heel opens the hi-hat, toe it closes the hi-hat. So while I'm playing the triplet, I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and a bass drum, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and one thing about the bass drum, we're not playing with heavy metal or a rock band or whatever, jazz band. This is an exercise. You really want to focus in on the sound of your hands. So the term comes to view now, feathering the bass drum. Feathering the bass drum means I'm blending it in. You just about hear it. Now, the whole formula follows the whole page. Now, I don't know, this is for everyone. Everybody has different ways of practicing. And I take things as challenging, and I take things to practice to get better and to move on to discover new things. But what I would highly recommend until you get the feel of it is to play line 1. You feel good with line 1, go to line 2 without stopping. Make that transition. So hang out with line 2. You feel good with that, go to line 3, so on and so forth. All the time, what you're doing is you're playing the bass drum where it belongs. No, you're playing the bass drum. I'm sorry, that's the next one. The bass drum on 1, 2, 3, 4. You're feathering it in. You're not going, feather it in, nice and light. Hear that? 1, the difference, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. The left foot. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now I'm going to play the line over and over again. But I'm starting in the same position. And before I make any stick move, I'm back in that starting position. Line 2. Line 3. So on and so forth. Now, what I'm doing is I'm taking it from a high position. So I'm going to get a loud sound. Hold it. So we're going to get a pretty loud sound from here, as opposed to if I stroke the drum from here. So that's the full stroke position. And I would refer to that as forte. Forte means loud. I don't want to go to fortissimo because that becomes a different kind of thing. I just want forte, which means just loud. So at that position, I'm hitting forte. Now, if I want to lighten up on the sound, I'm going to change my position from here to about here. Notice it's about half the distance. So scientifically, theoretically, if I strike the drum from here, it should be softer than this because of my sticking positions. I'm not trying to rush through this. My main objective is make that right hand and left hand sound the same. Okay, so now I'm going to play I'm going to play line 1 again. This time, mezzo forte, moderately loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Line 1. 1, 2, 3. Line 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Line 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the exercise itself is pretty easy. Robert, can you hear me? You getting this? Any questions? So what I'm saying is the sticking height is going to determine the volume of the exercise. Now the thing is to do it slow. You already did forte and mezzo forte. You don't want to play it any fast. You just want to relax it. Get the sound going on that you're achieving. Make sure that the right and the left sound the same. Now I want to take it to another position, and the distance is not as far as forte or mezzo forte. This is called piano, meaning soft. Notice the distance of my stick is pretty low. So I make an impact from a low point, which is going to give me a lesser sound. So now I'm going to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 2 and 4, and I'm going to play line 1 in that position. Still, my right hand, my left hand, are they sounding the same? That's what I'm after. Of course, the tempo and my placement. Go to line 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. But notice before I made any you can't hear me. Is that right? Hold on. Robert, reboot your computer. Robert, can you hear me now? Here goes the lesson. Can you hear me, Robert? Okay, good. Did you hear it before in the beginning of the lesson? All right, good. All right, so now the object there, and I'm sorry because I'm trying to demonstrate formula number 1. In addition to that, I have a chat going on because this is a live lesson, and I'm getting questions, and I'm trying to answer them as soon as I can. So that's just a nice little exercise. You turn your metronome on. You want to loosen up. Maintain the equal sound on the both hands. And that's just the one surface exercise. But notice, when I get a little softer, I'm a little closer to the drum for 2 reasons. I'm going to get a lighter sound, or the distance is not all the way up here, so I could play these faster. Because I don't have to wait for it to all come back. That's the stroke and rebound. Okay? Now, like I said, do these as many times as you like. It's a lot of fun, and it's a workout. It really is. Use a metronome. Play them on a drum pad. it's best to play them on a drum set or the snare drum with the bass and hi-hat. But if you can't get to that, work on the drum pad. It's a hell of a workout for your hands, especially if you travel up the metronome. Now, that's just a one surface exercise formula number 1. So let's go to formula number 2. How you doing, Paul? Let's go to formula number 2. Number 2 is I'm going to take actually formula number 1 and bring it over to page 2. But this time, I'm going to use a substitution. The first formula was when I see an R, was 3 rights. When I see a left, 3 lefts. This time I'm going to substitute. Instead of using my right hand, I'm going to use my bass drum. Now you can get a little louder with the bass drum because it's by itself. It's not musical. It's musical, but you're not trying to feather it in. You're sort of soloing it. So if I play the first line, right, left sequence, 3 rights, 3 lefts, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was with the substitution. And now, there's a reason why I'm keeping them low. Okay? Because we're going to expand on that. Now, we did the same exercise, but we took the right and we substituted it for bass drum. And that's just part of the exercise. Line 3 for line 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, sorry. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Part of the exercise. Now, what I like to do to complete the exercise, and for you jazz dudes who want to develop a little bit of independence, or a lot of independence, or a good platform to develop melodic structure between the bass drum and the left hand, what you're going to do is take that exercise now and add the rise cymbal. I can't hear that well. Now, I'm playing quarter notes over here. But notice my right stick. It's starting at one point, and it comes right back. Straight quarter notes, but there's a reason for that, because I'm pulsating the quarter note. Now I'm going to add the da of 2 and the da of 4. But it's going to be lighter than the quarter note. That's always maintained. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the lighter. 1 and the 2 and the 3, 4. Free stroke, down, a free stroke, down. You want to keep that going. Left foot, heel and toe. 1, 2. Now, do the first exercise. The 3 rights is the bass drum. The 3 lefts is the snare drum. So on and so forth. And all I do is appreciate, respect, and expand on the brilliance of George Lawrence Stone. I think it's a helpful way. It's not about, playing parts of a tune. You could always do that yourself once you understand technique and how it all falls. The thing is how you can control your voices. And what I mean by controlling your voices, you want to get a loud sound. You understand it should come from here. Not so loud, moderately loud, from here, and soft from here. So you understand number 1 and you understand number 2, I hope. So I do line 1, 3, 4, 1, 2. If you want to approach it that way, leave the right hand out but get the left foot going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you implement your ride cymbal part. Keep everything going. Now, that's just one phase of a triplet. For those who have, and it gives a great explanation of this, for those who have Gary Chaffee's pattern series, time functions, he breaks up the elements of a triplet, which I utilize in the future formulas from stick control. But when I say possibilities of a triplet, what are the possibilities? Well, we just did 1, 1, and that's just the by itself, not the sticking now, just the thought. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and or I could think of a triplet as just the first note, and I'm counting triplets, but I'm just playing the first note as quarter notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I left the and. That's an element of a triplet, an eighth note triplet. Then I could say, all right, let me just try the and of the triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the da of the triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and or whatever you come up with, the first note and the third note of the triplet. 1 and 2 and 4. Sorry. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and or the first two notes of the triplet. The 2 and 3 and 4 and all those triplets would implement into the formulas in a variety of different concepts, approaches, in different ways. So, like I said before, the hardcover is not available. If you would like to purchase the ebook or the PDF format, like I said, there's 45 different formulas, both one surface exercises and a drum set application exercise. And it's only available in PDFs. So if you'd like to purchase this, and I can't lay the price down here only because YouTube would flag it. So if you want to find out the price of just the PDFs, email to you directly after payment is received. Email me, Matt Patella 1001 at gmail.com. Okay, and I'll give you all the information and the pricing. You get it right in your mailbox. As soon as I receive payment, you get 180 pages and 45 different formulas. So it's entirely up to you. Thanks, Paul. I was going to ask you that. Thank you. Okay, so that takes care of the first one. What I'm doing is I'm just, introducing it to you, explaining it to you as slowly as possible. I'm not going to sit here and play 72 lines. And then one way, there's 72 lines another way, because that takes a lot of time. And I'm only allotted so much time to do a video, and you get bored. You don't want to see me do the first way, line 68, line 69, line 70. You don't want to see me do that. You understand the concept. You will be able to play it. Put your timer on if you have a timer, your metronome especially, and don't try to show off. Don't try to be too fast. You're going after the sound of the right stick and the sound of the left stick equalized. So if you go slower, there's a lot of things that are happening. You're more aware of the sound, or if the sound is not the same, you adjust it so it becomes the same. That tempo, whatever tempo it might be, 60, 70, whatever. You don't want to try it at 208 at first or 250. That's ridiculous. Because now what you're doing is you're taking away the value of the exercise. The exercise number one, that's endurance at different dynamic levels and different tempos. The same thing with the second one. Do it slow. That's a lot of control because that's what you're training yourself to do is control what you do. You know, with the right foot and the left hand against it is something against it and something else keeping time. These are very valuable approaches. And I'm not saying that because I did it, but think about it. Check it out. You let me know. If you disagree with me, please comment or please email me. You have my email there. And after the lesson, I am going to have my email and the name of today's lesson available. Okay, so that should take care of sticker formula number one, number two. Maybe next YouTube lesson I'll do formula number 3 and 4. And I'll just give you an insight on it. This stuff is all written out. Okay, 4 pages on each formula. So, you know, if you're interested, just email me and we'll deal with it. Now, what I've been doing with my online lessons and my Zoom lessons is working polyrhythms. And we're utilizing, again, the stick control book against polyrhythms. Example, 3 against 2, 3 against 2 against 4, 3 against 4 over 8 against 8 with the stick control book. And these are extremely valuable because it really slows you down, makes you more aware of what you're doing, intensifies your tempo, so you're on the tempo. You have no choice. Focus, you're right there. And as you pick up the tempo a little bit on the polyrhythms, you're going to be amazed at what you start to hear and when you're implement it inside of your playing. Because now you really got a focus thing going. You have you're right on the money with the tempo, so on and so forth. So again, if there's any questions, hit me up. Hey, Paul, Robert, your drums sound okay? Hello, Pete. How you doing? Is this the time for me to end the lesson? It's going to be filmed, so if you want to view the lesson, just come back and view it. I want them to sound great, Paul. Hey, Pete, you on my mailing list? Because I'm doing a Zoom lesson tonight at 7 p.m. and everybody's invited. We're going to be working with polyrhythms tonight. And it's an advanced class. So if you'd like, email me, Matt Patella, live lessons, mattpatella1001@gmail.com. I'll send you the ID and I will send you the passcode. And for whoever else wants that, just email me, okay? We're going to work with 3 against 2, 3 against 4 tonight, utilizing the stick control book. It's very, very difficult and advanced. So if you'd like to come, please come. Okay, so that being said, let's say goodbye and see you tonight.